this is our PSP Group. We are disproportionate against abortion, and our provocative statement was that abortion should be illegal.
At the beginning of this project, Maddie Shar and I disagreed with the initial statement, and Catherine and Andrew agreed with the initial statement. But after numerous conversations and further working on our project, we agree with the Pain Capable Unborn Child Protect Act, also known as the H.R. 36, that states abortion should be legal before 20 weeks.
Okay, so us three originally were for abortion. Some of the main reasons that we think is, for one, we aren't really in a place to decide for others what they should do, or we felt that way anyway. Another reason is in the case of rape. We don't feel that a woman should be forced to carry on that pregnancy, especially when it's something so traumatic. And the last thing is that it was already made legal in women's rights, so making it illegal would be taking away from that.
The point where it was legal in history was in the Roe versus Wade case, and this case was Jane Roe against Henry Wade, who was a district attorney of Dallas County, and he was enforcing a Texas law that prohibited abortion except when the woman's life was in danger. And the constitutional question of this case was, does the Constitution embrace the right of a woman to obtain an abortion? And the ruling allows for legal abortions during the entire pregnancy, but set up conditions to allow states to regulate abortion during the second and third trimesters. And in 1973, the court came to decide that a woman's right to an abortion fell within the right to privacy, and this was protected by the 14th Amendment. The decision gave a woman a right to abortion during the entire pregnancy and defined different levels of state interest for regulating abortion in the second and third trimesters. And this ruling affected laws in 46 states.
We are on the pro-life side of the argument because we believe that the baby should have the right to personal autonomy, just like the woman, because 3 weeks after conception, the baby's heart starts to beat, and 5 weeks after conception, the brain is developed, as well as other major organs, such as the kidneys, and it starts emitting brain waves.
Okay, going off of that, as Andrew stated, heartbeat starts at 3 weeks, which shows life, and we both come from a Catholic upbringing, and in the Catholic Church, we believe that all life is sacred, which means that you should not take a life, even of a baby, even if it's not fully developed. And then furthermore, on the woman's side of things, having an abortion can increase or result in a lot of different health risks that put the woman's life in danger.
The main reason we decided to all agree on the HR 37 is that it is a current thing that's happening right now, and it was just recently passed through the House of Representatives, and now it is waiting to be passed through the Senate. And if it does get passed through the Senate, then Trump just has to sign on it. And so I think that was a pretty big issue for us to come to agree with and kind of take into account both sides of our opinions to reach that goal.
And one of our main arguments for being pro-choice, according to the NARAL, it talks about the Roe v. Wade case where it made abortion legal. So when we made our final decision, we thought that we couldn't just make all abortions illegal because that would take away the women's rights.
According to reproductiverights.org, governments recognize the need for greater safety and availability of abortion services in the past. They affirmed that in circumstances where abortion is not against the law, health systems should train and equip health service providers and should take other measures to ensure that such abortion is safe and accessible. Additional measures should be taken to safeguard women's health. If abortion was made illegal, women might undergo processes that are dangerous and not safe for them. This would go against their right to health and their right to life.
Another point our side of the group liked and used was denying women access to abortion as a form of gender discrimination. Laws that restrict abortion have the effect and purpose of preventing a woman from exercising any of her human rights or fundamental freedoms on a basis of equality with men. Restricting abortion has the effect of denying women access to a procedure that may be necessary for their equal enjoyment of the right to health. Only women must live with the physical consequences of unwanted pregnancy. Some women suffer maternity-related injuries such as internal bleeding or obstructed labor. Women are consequently exposed to health risks not experienced by men.
One of the negative sides of abortion is not only that the baby's life is in danger, but it also puts the mother's health at risk. According to StudentsForLife.org, the further along the pregnancy is, the higher the risks are for the mother to have health problems, such as premature birth and future pregnancies, and the chance of having breast cancer, both of which increased by approximately 30%. There is also an 81% increase in the chance of developing psychological problems such as depression and suicidal thoughts after having an abortion. Physical health problems such as infection and inflammation or damage to the uterine lining can also be a result from abortion. This is another reason why our group agreed that after 20 weeks it is too risky for there to be an abortion and that the H.R. 36 bill should be passed to protect the future health of women.
One reason people think abortion should be legal is for women who have been in cases of rape, incestuous situations, or if their life is in danger. According to JohnstonArchives.net, out of 1.26 million women who were asked why they got an abortion, only 0.3% said it was because of rape, 0.03% because of incest, and only 0.9% because of the physical health or the life of the mother. The rest were purely elective. This is why we agree with the H.R. 36 Act, because the option is still there for the few women that need to get an abortion because of rape or incest or their life. However, it limits the amount of time they have before abortions are illegal.
In coming to this conclusion, we had to compromise on our points, and on the pro-life side, we did have some losses.
One of these losses was that we believe babies shouldn't be aborted past the around 5th week because that's when their brain is starting to emit brain waves and their heart is already beating. But H.R. 36 states you can't abort a baby past 20 weeks or around the 2nd trimester. Another loss was that we can't really change precedent in Roe v. Wade, and another law that sort of reinforces that in H.R. 36 led us to have another loss to our side.
Okay. Furthermore, in our original views when we first started this project, Andrew and I solely focused on the rights of the babies, and talking with our other group members, we then had to look at the side of the women's rights as well.
The other side of the argument, pro-choice, didn't take as many losses as pro-life, but we did have to compromise the fact that women cannot get an abortion after 20 weeks of pregnancy. We weren't initially for this because that limits the amount of time women have to get an abortion and limits their rights in that way.
Throughout this project, we were able to learn a lot about leadership. Some of the main experiences we had during it were being able to have respectful conversations, putting ourselves into other perspectives, and resolving conflict even though we were not all able to meet at all the meetings. Because this was such a sensitive subject, it was really important for us to have respectful conversations regarding other people's opinions, especially because we don't know each other's backgrounds and where we get these opinions, and it was important to put ourselves in those other perspectives in order to reach a conclusion about abortion.
The main conflict we faced as a group was trying to get everybody together and meet once a week, all at the same time. It was a struggle because we all have such busy schedules. For example, I play tennis, so I practice all afternoon, and Maddie lives off campus, so are just a few examples of why it was so hard to meet. So because we didn't get to meet, it was important for us as a group to stay connected via group meet or text message just to keep everybody on the same page and in the loop of what we were doing with the project at that time.
So in class, we often talked about the balcony versus the dance floor, which is staying back and observing versus being in action. And this is a concept that we applied to our group work because there are times where we need to be in the action, either doing something or stating our opinion and sharing with the group our thoughts or the facts that we found. But there are also times when we need to stay back and observe so that other members of our group had a chance to participate and share their beliefs and opinions as well.
Another connection to class that we've made throughout this process was the whole VASE concept. So VASE stands for Vision, Ask, Strategize, Execute. In the beginning when we first met as a group, we really needed to see the vision as a whole, not my vision versus Kayla's vision. We all needed to be on the same vision. And so sitting down and talking about that really helped us go forward from there. And along the process, a big thing of the VASE thing was asking, and whenever one of us were confused or if we didn't really know what the other person was saying or their opinion, you would just ask questions to help better understand the information that we were working on. And then the last two steps, strategize and execute, we were probably on for the majority of the time throughout this process because we needed to think of the best ways to execute all the different homework assignments or things we had to do to turn in, and the best ways to do it and the most efficient and how we could do it best as a group.
So the final way we connected to class was seeking to understand. We all kind of came into this project under the notion that we would research a little bit about the topic beforehand so that we could understand each other's opinions. And just like in class during like small groups or whatever have you, we wanted to understand everybody's perspective about the topic before we reached a final conclusion.
Which, as we previously stated, our group came to the conclusion that we agree with the HR 36 Act, which states that after 20 weeks of pregnancy, it should be illegal to have an abortion.